What up, people? I am back. We are continuing on with the Alien franchise today. Aliens, so we're on the sequel. Then Alien 3. And then next week, I'll probably have a Spiral review up because I'm going to watch that tomorrow at some point. So, so that's what's going to be going on for the next few videos. But I'm happy we're here because Aliens is awesome. So it was awesome reviewing the first one. And this movie, a lot of people's eyes, is the superior. For me, it's gonna always be Alien, and it's only slightly. I just prefer the horror tone, but I think Aliens is great. I think I can understand to a degree. It's like the T2 effect. Like some people felt like it had more heart because of the stuff with Newt, which, and I will agree. I think character wise, I think Ripley has a lot more in this because she's experienced. Of the stuff with Newt, like I said, you have good characters like Hicks. Michael Bean's in this. You got yeah, the cast is great. Paul Reiser is kind of like the slimy government guy who double crosses in the end is great. And it's weird. It was kind of weird seeing because I saw Paul Reiser first in the Beverly Hills Cops movies. He was like a much different character in that. So it was kind of interesting seeing him in this. But overall, I love this film. I think this film is phenomenal, and it has my favorite xenomorph design. The more xenomorph design, and I do like that we get to see more of them. And like Predator 2, we learn more about the creatures. Like we actually kind of get to know what a xenomorph is and what they can do. We learn that there's a queen. Sorry if you hear slamming. That's just the gate. Um, but it was awesome. The queen design was great. The final fight was great. Just overall, I thought Lance Henriksen did a great job. And honestly, you're gonna see me for the at least 3 videos. You're gonna see me kind of gushing. There's just nothing to rant about. Alien and Aliens were god tier. I like Alien 3, and I'm just gonna spoil that. I like Alien 3. I think there's aspects. There's some things I don't like, but I, for the most part, largely like Alien 3. So, which I will review tomorrow, and that's gonna be controversial because a lot of people don't like that one. So I'm gonna take a hit. Cheers. So it's set 57 years after the events of the first film. We see the Nostromo. She's basically found by a crew who works for Weyland. So we learn more about Weyland Yutani as a company. So the company that was mentioned in the first film as the company. They didn't. I think it's probably because they didn't have a name yet. So, and this is where she also learned she has a daughter named. I gotta find it. Because she's an alien. Um, because it's set like. Because she's a character. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I hate doing this shit like right on a video, but it's just sometimes I fucking forget shit. Amanda Ripley. So we this is the film where we learn about Amanda Ripley, who she's the protagonist of Alien Isolation. So that's kind of awesome that they kind of tied that together. So she is woken up. She is met by this guy named Burke, played by Paul Reiser, who works for Weyland. Um, I think Paul Reiser does a good job of this movie, playing like a slimy fucking. Because he seems like chill in the beginning, and then but you could kind of tell he has an ulterior motive. So, so Paul Reiser fills her in like basically what's been going on the past 57 years. Tells her about her daughter and that her daughter Amanda Ripley died. In that Ripley tries to go to the higher ups and warn these people about like the xenomorphs, and they don't believe her. So she has a dream where was having a face buster burst out, but that was a dream scene. But it was kind of cool though. Like, it also does a good job of kind of showing her PTSD from what happened, and it makes sense. It's reasonable, you know. So I think both T2 and Aliens both do a great job with Ripley and Sarah Connor by like showing like the PTSD factor, like because like you know I think some films don't do that enough, and I'm not saying every film needs to be like some lesson in PT. I'm not saying that, but it is kind of like interesting to see, like, because it makes it a little realistic, like. Yeah, dude, you experience this shit multiple times. At some point, you gotta have some kind of PTSD. So Burke asks her to go on to lead a mission of Marines to this base, um, but she declines initially. But then she later decides to do it, but only if, uh, basically only if she's in charge and that they kill the Xenos. So Burke agrees. So yeah, she initially tries to ask the higher ups. They told her no. So this is where we basically meet the we meet Lieutenant Gorman, William Hope. Really great cast. Like the Marines are great. You had Vasquez. You know what's crazy? The girl who played Vasquez is a white lady. It's crazy because she's the stepmom from T2. You know the not the stepmom, the foster mom of John Connor in T2, and it's like, oh my god, it's crazy. Um, Basically she kind of takes charge, and it makes sense too why Ripley would take charge. She knows she experienced it, so of course, you know. And then they travel, you know, basically to this base, and we meet Bishop, played by Lance Henriksen, and I love the little like she has reservations about Bishop because he's an android. She had a bad experience with the android from the first film, so of course she's gonna like be very like skeptical. But eventually, obviously, see the film, so he makes the sacrifice in the end, and definitely he earns her respect. So Ripley tells the Marines about the creatures, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is where we meet Burke, played by Michael Keane. Michael Bean. I thought he was great in this movie. Michael Bean in general just plays a great like soldier. Like I think he fits that kind of character. You know, they're at the planet now. Also, one of the soldiers is Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton's great in this fucking movie. He's funny that the it's game over, man. That's where that shit came from. So they land and they deploy an armored carrier, which was just cool looking. I do wish there was a scene where we saw it like destroy aliens. We see a little bit of that in the scene coming up, but it was cool. So the troops go out. They enter the building. The building seems fine, like normal. They find the face huggers. Um, this is where we meet Newt. So they find Newt, and Newt was this lost little girl. Uh, she was one of the daughter of one of the people in the beginning who died. She can't talk, so Ripley basically nicknames her Newt, and So they track the. This is more tracking than the Xeno. I'm just gonna skip to the part where the Xenos attack and basically pin them. So Ripley gets, argues with Burke. He says, "No, don't get involved. That they need to be on their own." Ripley goes and gets in one of the the armored vehicle, and basically shoots it down and rescues them. Really cool scene. Just really cool action scene. Very more action oriented. So so the vehicle's immobile now, but she saves some of them. This is where we find Sergeant Dietrich. And basically, this is for the rest of the film. It's very much them trying to get off this planet, which I love. So I'm gonna kind of jump around just because there's some points where it's just kind of slow. So they have to. So throughout the film, you see Hicks and Ripley kind of getting, Hicks, obviously clearly has a thing for her. So Bishop throughout the film is like testing xenomorph blood, and you learn about like how the Xenos implant people and what they do. Really awesome, like because I feel like I think Predator 2, as much as I love that film, very much took that probably aspect of, the first one we're just gonna show you what it can do. The second one we're gonna like go more into what these things are and how these work, which is awesome. So, and like I said, everybody has a place in this movie. Um, so this is where it's discovered Burke is the bad guy. So she vows to expose him. So so the Xenos attacked. I love the scene. Just like it's just an awesome scene of just big shootout, and it feels like almost like a video game in a way. Like shoot Xenos in this building. So Bishop calls in. So they find a ship, and so basically the aliens outnumber them. Oh, I'm just gonna jump around to the scene where Newt is locked in this room. Newt and Ripley get locked in this room with a face hugger. Really, just a little bit of a scary scene. So, like I said, there's scary moments in this movie. It's just very like little. It's little because it is very much more action. So they manage to get rescued, and basically Burke gets exposed, and as the one who tried to set it up, because she wanted because Burke wanted her to get impregnated by one of the face huggers. It's crazy. Like Burke's a decent little like smarmy little asshole villain. He works, and then obviously he gets his, and it's one of those things you kind of cheer for it. And I think Paul Reiser did great. Um, so basically, the Xenos attack. Um, so this is where Burke dies. Um, so there's a ship on the way in 16 minutes. Um, So Gorman and Vasquez. This was a beautiful scene where they like die together. So she throws grenades and they basically die together. Really kind of sad. And then that's the thing too. Vasquez is this like she's a tough chick done right. Like she's obviously fit. Like the scene where you just see her doing a bunch of pull ups and shit. She's believable. And what else works is her love for Gorman. Hollywood, you can. This was actually back when Hollywood could actually show, affection. Let a strong female character show affection to a man. It doesn't make her weak. It's actually back when movies could be made, and there's when they die together, it's awesome. Like dope scene, well done, and you feel bad. So Newt falls through a vent because of the explosion, falls through a ventilation shaft. And I think this is the scene, basically, the iconic scene where Newt's in the water and you see like a xenomorph show up behind her. So basically, Newt's kidnapped. And Ripley basically says, Ripley and Bishop are about to leave, but Ripley refuses to leave because she has to rescue Newt. Because of that motherly, like, nature kicks in. It kicks in. So she decides, what, tells Bishop to drop her back off. She arms herself with a pulse rifle, flamethrower, and a bunch of grenades. So Hicks, who's injured, she says goodbye to him, and then she basically goes back and looks for the creatures. This awesome scene, her going down, just kind of destroying the alien nest. She rescues Newt from the cocoon wall. Xeno's explosions start. They have to kind of chase. And this is where we see the Queen for the first time. Just awesome. Like, we learn how the Xeno ecosystem works. You see their nest. You see what they actually do to people. The more I think about it, it's almost tied with the first one. I still slightly prefer the first one because I prefer the more horror tone, but this one is there in terms of as a film because of just the background of the xenomorphs and learning all that. The stuff with Ripley and Newt is fucking beautiful. It reminded me. Well, granted, it's almost before because T2 didn't come out for like another 5 years, so just that maternal instinct, like Ripley, who she didn't know this girl. This girl was some random girl, and she still let that motherly instinct. Hold on, let me check the footage. Just how long I've been filming. Okay. She didn't know this girl, and she's taking care of her. So Xenos close in on him to protect the mother, or the queen. She wards them off by threatening to blow up eggs. And this is also where you learn that any of their movements comes from her. She turns the flamethrower on and basically lights everything on fire. And throws a grenade, throws everything up. Then the queen, actually gets up and chases them. And the queen is a big bitch. The queen's awesome. One thing though, I wish we saw more of the Xeno Queen. Like we only saw her, I only think 2 real times in this film. Technically in Resurrection, but I hate what they did with the Queen, and I will get more into that tomorrow. Not tomorrow, next. Well, I'll get into it. It's gonna be a few days till I do that review. They just kill the Queen off very unceremoniously in Resurrection, which I will get to next week. So it's just and then we see the Queen in AVP, which I will review those movies as standalones because with the Alien franchise, I'm only reviewing the Alien, strictly the Alien movies. So just real quick, Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, and then I got Prometheus and Covenant. And then I'm gonna do the Predator movies, probably Predator, and I guess I'll review the Predator, and then I'll do the AVP movies as like a standalone. But the Queen actually got to do shit in that movie, so it was cool. But I do wish we got more of her doing shit. So she bursts out of her thing, chases Ripley and Newt. They make it back to the elevator. The Queen approaches them. She tries to burn her. So Bishop, so everything seems fine. They managed to barely make it back on the ship. It seems fine. Then it's revealed that the Queen basically stowed away. And Bishop gets killed by the Queen, whose stinger. We actually see the tail in effect now. That their tail has a stinger, rips Bishop apart, and then she uses the forklift power loader mech that was used earlier, and this is where we battle, and this is where you get the iconic "Get away from her, you bitch." Or stay away from her, bitch. It's one of the two. Like, either works, great line. So, battles, protect Newt, and then, they pretty much battle, and then, so then they open the thing to space again. So, kind of like a little callback to the first movie. They open the airlock, and the Queen flies out. And then they manage to close it, and then Newt and hugs her, and then basically Bishop has earned Ripley's respect. So a little bit of like that full circle. This is back when a movie would go full circle. Like something would start here, but then it actually gets resolved. Not this subverting expectation shit. You could actually resolve a storyline that you started. You actually finish it, and you go full circle. So the film ends with Newt and Hicks and Bishop go to hypersleep. And you can hear a face hugger in the end. So they were probably already setting up for a third film. Oh, I should have also mentioned this film was directed by James Cameron, who already did Terminator 1, and then ends up doing T2. So this James Cameron's great, even though he greenlit Dark Fate, but whatever. So this film is phenomenal. I think this film is amazing, and watching it again just is it's a pleasure. And just the stuff with Newt and Ripley is the heart of this movie. Like the stuff they do with her, and then Hicks was great. Vasquez and Gorin. Sorry, I'm really bad with names. Gorman. Yeah, that stuff was great, and the way they kind of sacrificed, and Burke was a fucking slimy asshole, and the stuff with the xenomorphs were great. I love the xenomorph designs in these movies. In this movie, like with the ridges on its head, I've always preferred that design. Like I said, the stuff with Ripley and fucking Newt was beautiful, and the Queen was awesome. I like that the xenomorphs. It does feel like a video game, and not in a bad way. That's not like, because I've used that to shit on the Mandalorian, for example. Oh, it feels like a video game. And what I mean with this is like a bunch of soldiers going on this planet to shoot creatures. That's what I meant. But not in a bad way. It's a good thing. It's awesome. The fact that we learn more about the xenomorph and them as creatures and what they do with people seeing the nest, and obviously learning that there's a queen. Because in the first one, like I said, it was very much, oh, let's show what the Xeno can do, but not go too into it. And it made sense too, because they didn't know if they were going to get a sequel. You know, so obviously they're probably not gonna go too into the lore because they don't fucking know if there's even gonna be a sequel. So why go into lore if just, oh, this is what this creature can do, and then the sequel is where you go into the lore. So that's fine, and I think they did very much. It was awesome learning about Amanda Ripley and that kind of getting a little bit resolved in Alien Isolation. Um, so just all around a phenomenal movie. Another like 10 out of 10. Like two 10 out of 10 movies. Like these first two Alien movies are like god tier, and 1986 was an awesome year for that. And I can only imagine seeing this movie in theaters the first time and just the get away from me, you bitch. Like, I fucking love that shit. And Ripley's a great character, and I, between her and Sarah Connor, like they're my favorite female characters of like all time. And like I said, the stuff with Newton Hicks is great. The music was great. It was awesome seeing Burt getting his in the end. So, just all around great film. Tomorrow I'm gonna be reviewing Alien 3, which is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be interesting, and I'm gonna try to review the assembly cut because that's gonna be the version. That's the one I consider canon is the assembly cut. Because this is the Alien 3 is a controversial one. A lot of people fucking hate that movie. Like that because they don't like that they kill Hicks and Newt in the beginning, and it kind of they kill off the characters from Aliens, and they also. But what I personally like about Alien 3, and I'll just give a little spoiler, I like Alien 3 because I really like that it goes back to the horror roots. Like it tries to, and I understand like there was a lot of behind the scenes drama. Like David Fincher doesn't even want to like. I think he's embarrassed by this movie. He considers Alien 3 an embarrassment. But I like it. I like the dark tone. And I can, if you want to, you can honestly just watch Alien through Alien 3 and be good. You don't watch Alien through Alien 3 and then just, if you want, go to the AVP movies years later. Because Resurrection, you don't have to watch. I don't hate Resurrection, but I think Alien 3 works as like, if you want, for me, a suggestion for me, if you want to like look at a place to end it, and if you don't, and you didn't really like Resurrection, just Alien 3. I think Alien 3 it could work as like a trilogy because Ripley dies in the end, and that was another choice that a lot of people didn't like. So I'm gonna go more into that tomorrow, but I like that movie. So I'm gonna take one more piece though. All right, guys. Fuck Freddie Bitch Jr. Fuck Warner Brothers. And fuck Hank Azaria. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.